Hey, Renee, I'm back. And in case you didn't know, maybe this is your first video of me, maybe it is. Hey, I'm Renee, and this year I've been on BookTube for 5 whole years. Yes, 5 years. I've been like, yeah, I've been here for some years. I moved a few years ago, and I suppose I've kind of been not that. I would say I don't really feel like I've been that different. While on BookTube, I haven't really changed or developed that much. I suppose I like doing my jam, and that's kind of my jam that I do. But one thing that I also really like is creating things. I have created like 20, at least 10, I feel like, tags now, book tags. And this is the newest ones among them. And as you can see, it's called La vida no es tan mala book tag, which is like, what? Well, okay, I'm gonna explain to you guys. So in 2009, I lived in Chile, yes, South America for a whole year. Before I went there, I did half a year of Spanish in school, and then I went there, and then I got some friends, and then I got a lot of vocabulary, came back to Norway, and took more Spanish. So I would say now, like, and I also went back to Latin America in 2014. So now I would say I would call myself fluent. I suppose it depends on how you define fluent, but like I have actually been like while I've been in Latin America, I have watched movies and like understood 98% of what I said, and like they talked in Spanish, and then the text has been in English. I have seen some stuff on Netflix in Spanish, and I would say yeah, quite a lot of things I understand. What I often stumble upon is like kind of the slang words, but of course, how could I know slang words from Colombia when I never lived in Colombia? That's kind of obvious. But yeah. So and also I quite enjoy Spanish as a language and talking it, listening to Spanish music and whatnot. So I thought, why not name a whole tag after? And in case you don't know what that means, the sentence "La vida no es tan mala," it just means life is not too bad, which I believe it's kind of well known that the British kind of do the known British understatement when like they ask, "Are you happy?" and they say, "I'm fine," and they're like, "Fine" means like, "I'm so happy," but they can't say, "I'm delighted." They just, "I'm fine." And it's kind of a thing we actually would say we do in Norway as well. Like you might be asked, "Are you happy?" And you might say, "Yeah," but you are happy, but you don't always say happy because people are weird. I suppose they don't want to show emotions. It's a weird thing, really. But yeah, so this is a kind of book tag, kind of kind of a bit self-obsessed, but kind of all about me. So by watching this book tag, you'll get to know me more. But also, yeah, I'm also gonna be tagging people because it's always fun to tag people in these tags. So it's gonna be fun to see what your answers are. And also, if you just find this randomly, if you find me randomly during this amazing readathon month, or just randomly whenever, and you kind of feel like that looks like a fun tag you're it. You don't have to you don't have to be tagged by me personally. I want to see the people do this tag. Like if this becomes a big tag, that will be very fun. Probably wouldn't happen. Maybe. So yeah, let's get to the questions. First question is Veronica Mars, which Veronica Mars is that, in case you didn't know, it's a TV series, kind of cult, I would say. Yeah, kind of cult TV series. It got three seasons and a movie, and then a fourth season, which I don't really feel like I could talk about the fourth season because I believe that was quite bad. I have not seen the fourth season myself, but I'm not sure I really want to see it. And also, it ended in a bad way, so that's kind of that really. Oh, just give me a moment. I thought something happened and it didn't happen, so yeah. But yeah, Veronica Mars, one of my all-time favorite TV series. It's all about a teen who's also becomes a detective because of reasons. her best friend was killed, so she kind of wants to solve that murder. But she also helps her dad, who's a private eye. She lives in Neptune, which is a town where like you're either very rich or very poor. So it's kind of, and it's very noir based, and yeah, I just love that series so much. One of the reasons I love it is that Veronica Mars, at least in the first two seasons, is quite like not shamed. She's quite on the outs, quite an outsider. In the first beginning of the first season, everyone at school hates her. She kind of feels like everyone doesn't like her. She's quite on the outside. She just gets some friends after a while, but she never really is part of the big crowd. Before this season one started, she was part of the popular crowd, but when we see her first episode, she's not, definitely not. And with me myself also, in middle school, I was not part of the popular crowd at all. I mean, middle school was a difficult time for me, as it was for a lot of people. But yeah, I kind of lost contact with friends from primary, and it's kind of difficult to find new friends. I was both excluded, like the people talked about me behind my back, but they also made up rumors about me, which they also do about Veronica Mars. Yeah, it was a big thing. But Veronica Mars holds a great place in my heart. So the question here is a book where you see yourself for the first time. So like yeah, and Veronica Mars was the first time I saw myself. I kind of very much felt like. Also, and one other thing that's kind of very much like I loved was that also through a lot of my teens and my childhood years, I used to have shorter hair. Like I used to have like hair up to here to like just my ears. And you don't really ever see that in girls. Like now, again, I would say now you see it more, but then you didn't really see it. And I quite like that aspect of Veronica as well. So yeah. But yeah, question here is mention a book where you see yourself for the first time. Uh, Here, I could go with some different books because there's different books that kind of show different parts of myself. They're all part of multitudes. I'm gonna use Old Magic by Marion Curley because Kate in this book, she was kind of similar to me. She was 10, 13. Well, no, was it 13? 14? Well, 13, 14, 12, around that age. She had one friend. She was bullied in school, but at the same time, she was kind of happy as herself. She didn't really want to be, she didn't try to be someone else. She didn't want to be popular. She liked her life, even though people around her said, like, you're stupid, you're idiot, but she liked being herself. And that really resonated with me because even though I was bullied in middle school, I still didn't really want to change because I liked to read, I liked to watch movies, I liked to daydream, I liked to be my quirky self. I didn't really want to change. Like sometimes you see people in movies change because they want to fit in, they want to have friends. I was like, I want to have friends, but I want to be myself as well. I don't really want to fit in into this weird picture you have that people have to be like this to be accepted. I don't really want to do that. So yeah, Kate does not change for anyone else, and I so love that. So yeah, Kate in Old Magic. And then we have, give me a little moment. Yes, this kind of relates back to what the title of this tag is. Well, the language in it's Spanish, which, yeah, again, I know Spanish quite a lot. Like, I still kind of, like, if you ask me, how does your mind work? I suppose I could say how my mind works, but honestly, my mind, I think, both in English, Norwegian, and Spanish. And like, if I'm mad, if I'm like, if I fall, if I maybe kick my feet, like if I fall on my feet, I might swear in Spanish. So yeah, I still use Spanish, not as much as when I live there, of course. And I don't really have any friends here who use Spanish. But yeah, I still use it like talking to myself and also my family because my family also lived in Latin America because I lived with my family there. Uh, but also, I do know that not everyone in the world speaks Spanish, even though it's a big language. Um, But this weird thing happens with me sometimes. Like normally it's fine. Like not everyone speaks Spanish. Fine. Also, not everyone speaks English. That's fine. That's just part of life, really. At least not everyone speaks English here in Norway, or I suppose also a lot of places in the world. But sometimes I know this is just so weird, but I'm just gonna tell you, be just completely honest here. But sometimes I might be out and about. I might be walking around in town. I might be buying some ice cream. Maybe I'll have a lunch, meet a friend or whatnot, and I just have a normal, fine, ordinary day. And to everyone else, it's just I'm just talking, being social, being myself. But inside, I'm like, why aren't you speaking Spanish? Now I'll be irrationally mad that people aren't speaking Spanish, which is kind of weird. It is a weird thing. I don't know why our brain works that way. So here, simply the question is a book more people should read because I want more people to read to use Spanish. So I'm gonna go with Margaret Mertz Takes It Down by Carrie McPherson and Ian McVerty. This is actually also kind of, I would say, it is kind of Veronica Mars, but in a more modern way, because it's set in our world, so it's much more app-based and internet culture, slut shaming, more those kinds of things. And I just love it so much. And it's a great book. I have the second book, haven't read it yet, but I want to read it. And if you like contemporary with Veronica Mars vibes, it doesn't have like the danger of Veronica Mars that it does have sometimes, but it has kind of a lot of the same. Yeah, like the main character isn't rich, she's sassy, and yeah, yeah. Up next we have blah 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 swimming, which means I generally am kind of a stereotypical book nerd. I have a lot of books. I buy books all the time, but often I love Little Free Library. Like with me, I'm either sitting inside reading in winter, or if it's sunny, I'll go outside on a porch, or I just read in the park. Like to me, winter or summer doesn't matter. I'm reading all year round. And also, I don't like sports at all. That it's not for me. Olympics is just so boring. The World Cup of football just so boring. Where I live is quite close to where one of the major sports sports celebrities nowadays is from Holland, Erling Braut Haaland. He plays for both Norwegian national team, but also for some teams in the UK, or at least for one. I'm quite sure if it's Arsenal, one team. I don't know. But honestly, I don't care that much that he's from here. Cool, he's from here. Fun. I don't mind that much. I don't care about it. Like sports to me at all, I don't care at all. But what I do actually like, I like to go swimming. I actually love to go swimming. Like whenever it's summer, I love to go swimming in the places near me. And like a few years ago, I started swimming in a pool here, and this seems to be a thing in the UK, sorry, in the US. But here in Norway, normally when you go to swimming pools, it's inside. But this one swimming pool close to me, an hour away from me, that it's an outdoor swimming pool, and I quite like that. It's kind of nice to like swimming, and you can feel the wind in your hair, or you can see the small raindrops on you, or the sun, and I quite like it. It's quite nice. I do go there to swim quite often, really. So yeah, here the question is simply a bookish exception. So it could be a book by an author that you usually don't like, but you like this one book. It could be a book in a genre you don't usually like, but you like this one book. Maybe you don't normally like YA, but you like this one book. Yeah, a book is exception. Sorry, give me a moment. Been talking a lot. But yeah, my answer here is the Skullduggery Pleasant series, which originally I thought like this is just such a lovely, great series. After I just kind of thought of it as a fun fantasy series, but after a while, I seen more and more people talking about it as like a horror fantasy series, and I do kind of understand that because at times it is quite horrific and quite like more on the scarier sides than just the actiony sides. But I just quite still enjoy this series because it's just so original and so fun and funny, and I love the characters and whatnot. But what I often end up doing, often end up skimming the scary scenes because they're too scary for my part. But yeah, Scholar Pheasant has horror elements, and I still read it. And then we have the next prompt. Yeah, Gilmore Girls, which a TV series that I love. I rewatch it every year more or less. Really, I loved it when I was a teen. It would often go on repeat, like Norwegian TV series, Norwegian TVs. I would think it would probably go on reruns a lot of places in the world, and I just love it so much. Netflix episodes we don't talk about because they're not good, but the original episodes I love. I even love season 7. I don't really have that much against season 7. I also love that one. But yeah, the prompt here, I see a series you love in a fluffy way. So Gilmore Girls I love, but like it's kind of in a different way than I love Veronica Mars because Gilmore Girls to me is escapism. Veronica Mars to me is more relativism because I relate to Veronica Mars. I don't really relate to Rory. Yes, we both like to read, yeah, but I would say she's also always been more shy than me. I haven't really related to so much to her. I've related more to Lorelai, but still, I've never wanted to be on in. So, yeah, to me, Gilmore Girls is more escapism than anything else. Really, it's not more like I see myself in them. It's just I escape. Uh, Here, I'm gonna go for Diary of a Confused Feminist by Kate Weston. This is the first in a duology. So, the first one is called Confused Feminist, and the second one is Should Do Better, Gonna Do Better, something like that. So they're both good, and yeah, part of the time something that she talks about anxiety and being a teen and being a girl in today's world, which could be hard. But mostly it's kind of like fluffy, going about living your life in being a teen in a world. It's not a book with like heavy themes. It's kind of more on the fluffier side, I would say. Then we have what is the next prompt? Silly sisters. Because yeah, I have three sisters. I'm the youngest. The oldest is 12 years older than me, so we never lived in the same house. But yeah, the other two I've had like different associations with. One of them is 6 years older than me, so she's always been like old and she's kind of never been like I suppose close in that well. She wasn't close in my childhood. She's closer now. But yeah, and then the other one is 4 years older than me, so we had a lot of fights and whatnot. And as you do with sisters, sometimes you're mad, you fight over clothes, at least when you have sisters, you do that. You fight over the remote control for the TV, you fight in real life about different things. Or sometimes you just kind of fight together against your parents because your parents are stupid. So it's like sometimes you fight your sisters, sometimes you fight with them. So it's like, yeah. And they can be silly and stupid and weird, but they're your sisters and you enjoy them. You like them in the end, really. So this here is simply a book that you both love and hate. So I suppose a book that you sometimes love and you sometimes hate. Or it could be a book that you love parts of and hate other parts of. And yeah, here I seem to have been too smart because I felt like there was a fun prompt to have, but I could not find a book for it myself. So yeah, we're just gonna skip this one question myself. And also I've seen I have skipped another question. Sorry, we're skipping back. But yeah. Gilmore Guys, which is a Gilmore Girls podcast, and it was my first podcast introduction. I listened to that one for years. I still listen to it over again because I just love those episodes. But here the question is the first podcast that you listened to, or the first book you read in a genre. So here I'm going to go with podcast, and I'm just going to repeat myself. I'm just going to say Gilmore Guys, because yeah, that podcast is just golden. It's just, I listen to all their episodes, but I still really listen to them now and then because a lot of the episodes are just so re-listening to. They're just so great, and I just, yeah. Often nowadays, I kind of watch a Gilmore Girls episodes and then listen to a Gilmore Guys episode, and they just kind of, to me, they go very much hand in hand. And yeah. And then next prompt is board games, which for these last 10 years, I've been like very much a board game girly. I played some board games in my childhood, but that was kind of in Christmas, in Easter, but like not much else. And then I played a bit board games when I was 18, 19, but not that much, but like a bit during summer. And then I went to university in Oslo, and some friends of mine had board games nights, and I felt like, you know what, I'm gonna try this. So I did. I started to learn lots of new board games, lots of hidden traitors, lots of Ticket to Ride. We did Codenames, all the different board games, and now board games is a big part of my personality. So this question is simply a book, series, or author you've read or and loved for 10 years. So a book or author or series that you discovered 10 years ago. Because yeah, now I feel like it's kind of 10 years ago since I got into board games. So I'm gonna go with The Clockwork Scarab by Pauline Stoker. I love this series so much, and I found it in 2014, I believe. So 10 years now. Time flies. I also believe maybe, yeah, I, sorry, I said I didn't have an answer, but I do have an answer for the first book in the genre. So that is, I hope, sorry, I'm noticing music. Moment. That is, sorry, kind of similar to these books, but yeah. An Extraordinary Union, which is the first book that I read that is historical but not white. Which is that its own genre? Okay, suppose it's historical and also spy. Which historical spies, they, I suppose there are probably more historical romances than historical spy books. But yeah, there are some historical spy books, and this is the first in history plus spy that I have read, and I love it so much. And yeah, give me all the historical spy romance series. Give them to me, authors and also publishers, and just books are out there. I need them. I just love them. And yeah. And then last but not least, give me a little moment. What's the last prompt? Yeah. One of the things that I do, like, oh, quite often daily, but at least weekly, I I love to listen to radio, but often if I hear a song on the radio that I'm like, oh, I love this song, I'll just end up dancing in the kitchen because that's where I have my radio, and dancing around the kitchen in my living room because some songs you just have to dance to, and I just, yeah, I don't care if I dance cool or hip. I just do my thing and I just dance. And yeah, here the question is a book that makes you so happy that you could dance, or so happy that you do dance because, like, at least it means sometimes I just, when I finish a book, it's like, oh, you're so cool, I'm gonna dance with the book because the book just brings me all the joy and happiness it feels. And sometimes I can't do that, but I still want to do it. And yeah, so the book Life of Nina Hill gave me all the joy and all the love in the world. And yeah, definitely a book you can dance with or dance in honor of. And yeah. And that, my dear friends, is the La Vida no es tan mala book tag. In case you want to do this tag and you're scared of doing this, doing a title which is in Spanish, you could just say the uh, LV. I can't spell. La vida no. You can do the LVETM tags. You can just say the letters. You can do it that way. Or if you want to say the words and you're scared, if you don't know Spanish, you could just, I mean, I won't be mad if you do it with a bad Spanish pronunciation. I don't mind that. So yeah, I'm gonna tag Laura from Book Hermits. I'm gonna tag Nikki from Nikki's Books. I'm gonna tag Elisa Eli because yeah, of course. I'm gonna tag Chronicles of Noria from Chronicles of Noria because she wants to be tagged in more. And I feel like this is kind of fun questions to hear everyone say. Really, I suppose a lot of the questions are kind of like the prompts themselves are a bit generic. The idea behind them is not that generic, but yeah. And yeah, then other than that, I just say tag you're it. If you see this, wanna do it, tag. Feel free to do it. And I'll see you soon. Bye.